Hey, hey, Warrior Saints, glad to have you beautiful people in with us as we continue what we talked about yesterday. We were talking yesterday about what to do when we feel lost, when we mistake the signal for the noise, when we have so much stuff that it masks and covers up what is actually our calling, what we are being called to do, what we are being beckoned for, if you will, by Christ Himself, who calls us to follow Him, to lead the life that He has led for us, that He has shown for us, which we call that path of crucifixional living, which we call being a warrior saint. When we feel lost and we don't know where we're going because we're following all this different noise, where do we turn? What do we do? How do we overcome the noise? And St. Paul gives us this beautiful phrase in his first epistle to the Corinthians. In the final chapter, he starts with the following. And he says, "Be watchful, stand firm in your faith, be courageous, be strong." And I started thinking about these things, and each one in and of themselves could be their own crucifixional life stream. They could each have like full hours dedicated to each of these things. But I want to talk about them at least briefly, each single one now, because they give us the key to how to overcome the noise. And the first is when we want to be watchful, that means we got to wake up. Now, that does not mean that we have to get woke. But it means we do have to wake up. We have to see what's going on around us. If we keep trying, as we keep chasing this noise that is calling us in all these different directions, and we keep going in all these different paths and following all these shiny things, we need to wake up and realize that every time we chase something new, we keep getting the same results, which ultimately means we're not chasing anything new. We're chasing the same old stuff time and time again, rather than following what we know works, which is why St. Paul follows be watchful, or as I'm saying, wake up, with standing firm in our faith. We have to walk the walk. Faith is a verb. Faith is not something that I hold in my heart. And that means the Lord holds me, and the Lord is in my heart, and I love Jesus. And then we stand around a fire and sing Kumbaya. That is not faith. Faith means we're willing to walk the walk. We're willing to take what God has shown us. So once we wake up, we got to go find what that path is, rather than the path that is following the noise. Follow the path that leads to Christ. And then we have to walk that walk. We have to stand firm in our faith, showing that we believe that what God is telling us will work. Like we used in the example yesterday from the Gospel of Luke, to cast our nets on the other side. We do it because we have faith, which means that we take the actions that are required of having that faith. And then it's going to not be easy, and stuff is going to come at us and keep trying to pull us along. But St. Paul reminds us to be courageous. Now, courageous is defined by Merriam-Webster as being brave, having the qualities of bravery. And if you look at what bravery is, it actually means to endure, which means that in order for us to be courageous, we have to build endurance. Just like someone going out to run a marathon is not going to just wake up one morning and say, "I'm going to run a marathon today." They build that endurance. They build up to it with their runs leading up to that marathon. We too have to build our endurance, our faith endurance. True story. I once did a 5K thinking that I was just going to wake up and do that 5K. I have a great picture of me running to the finish line at the end. You don't see the fact that I was one of the last people in, because I did not have the endurance. I had not built the endurance to get through that 5K the way that everyone else was getting through that 5K. We have to do the same thing with our faith. We have to build up that faith endurance so that as we're walking the walk, little by little, and as the tasks that we encounter get harder and harder, we have the endurance to endure and to get through it. And finally, St. Paul tells us to be strong. which means that we can never quit. It means that we have to be relentless in our seeking out the crucifixion life. We have to be relentless in our staying awake, in our fighting off the noise by overcoming it, by following the way that is laid out for us, that Christ has shown us and invited us to follow when he says, take up your cross if you would come after me and follow me. He invites us. If we're going to do it, then we have to get up right now and do it. Take this weekend and practice putting these things into action so that you too can be a warrior saint. You can be someone who is putting away their will so that they can follow God's will, so that they can do what they need to do to overcome the noise that is crashing in around us. We'll be back again on Sunday at 9 and 10 with Orthros and Liturgy, and then again on Monday with another edition of our Crucifixional live stream. And until we see you then, keep walking on the way of the warrior saint.